It's 11 p.m. and you're finishing a client's proposal, thinking about that promotion and building a future-proof fund for your retirement. Now, your 401k statement shows solid growth, enough for your older future self to depend on without having to work again, and potentially helping your kids with the down payments of their first home. Well, what the statement doesn't show is the hundreds of thousands of dollars and unnecessary taxes and fees you've paid over the last 15 years. And most high earners discovers these limitations after hitting their peak earning years when the tax implications and opportunity costs have already shaped their entire retirement timeline. The advantage of understanding how your 401k really works could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes and fees and also speed up your retirement timeline. Hi guys, my name is Nok and I am passionate about helping people understand how their money behaves in the places that they park and save their money. Now, I didn't grow up understanding finance. My immigrant family just worked harder and saved more. We put everything in a savings account, earning almost nothing while living expenses rose at a faster rate. And we did what most people do. We cut our spending, we picked up more hours at work, and even juggled more jobs just to keep up. I saw that as a huge problem and decided to pursue finance because I truly want to understand money. And I got my degree in finance. I learned from books, podcasts, and I even talked to everyone around me about their personal finance. And through all of this, I learned something important. Most people don't understand what the accounts that they park their money in can or can't do. That disconnect between what people think their account can do versus what they actually do fascinated me. That's why I created this channel, to share what I know and keep learning along the way. And I'm happy you're here, so let's dive right in. Today we'll be talking about your 401k. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how your 401k works, the origin story behind its creation, contribution limits that cap your tax advantages, vesting schedules that control your money, fee structures that impact your wealth, market exposure realities, access restriction, tax implications, and the 5 built-in limitations that affect your future the most. Let's start with why 401k exists in the first place. It's 1978. Corporate America has a problem. Pension costs are destroying budgets. Some companies pay more to retirees than current employees. The old promise of guaranteed lifetime income is bankrupting corporations. Ted Benna, a benefits consultant, gets a desperate call. Over the phone, "Ted, we can't afford pensions anymore. But if we cut benefits, employees will revolt. We'll lose our best people. You gotta help us." Ted searches through tax regulations and spots Section 401k, originally designed for executive bonus deferrals. He realizes this obscure tax provision could work for all employees if positioned correctly. With this new finding, Ted decided to pitch to the companies. He said, "There's already a tax provision we can use. Employees direct their own investments and take market risk. Now, you as companies can add matching to make it attractive. Employees will get control. Companies, well, you guys get predictable costs." This created a system designed around 2 principles: corporate cost control and employee choice. Word spreads by the 1980s. Every corporation makes the same move: shift all the responsibility to employees and call it giving them control. Companies loved it. Predictable cost, employee retention through vesting schedules, and shifting all investment risk to employees. From their perspective, 401k solved every problem pensions created. And the trade-off? Well, you guessed it. As employees, you became your own pension manager, handling investment selection, market risk, and retirement planning that used to be managed by professionals. But what does this shift mean for high earner specifically? This means contribution caps that barely scratch your tax optimization needs, vesting schedules that limit job mobility during peak earning years, and limited investment selections designed for average employees, not sophisticated wealth builder. Let's talk about the vesting mechanism. This is a retention tool And once you see how this works, you understand who's exactly in control here. Let me show you how matching actually works through the vesting schedule, because this is where it gets clever. Let's just say you contribute $5,000 of your own money. That's 100% yours immediately, no questions asked. But when your company matches that $5,000, they don't just hand it over. That company match gets distributed to you over time based on something called a vesting schedule. You only own a percentage of their contributions based on how long you stay. And here's the kicker: if you leave early, you forfeit whatever isn't vested yet. But what does that actually look like in real dollars? Let me break it down for you. Watch this progression carefully, because this is where the retention mechanism becomes crystal clear. In year one, you're about 20% vested from the $5,000 company match. That means you own $1,000 of their money and you forfeit $4,000 if you leave. By year three, you're 60% vested. You own about $3,000 and still forfeit $2,000 if you leave. By year five, finally, you're 100% vested. The full $5,000 is yours if you choose to leave. Keep in mind that if you leave early, you're literally paying them for the privilege of quitting. The 401k started as an executive tax avoidance, so the government capped it. For 2025, the 401k contribution limits look something like this. If you are under 50, you get an annual contribution limits of $23,500 a year. If you're 50 and over, you get a $7,500 catch up, which brings your total annual contribution limit up to $31,000. And this one's brand new for 2025. If you're in that sweet spot between 60 and 63, you get an enhanced super catch up of $11,250 instead of the standard $7,500, which brings your total annual contribution limits to $34,750 per year. Of course, your employer has to actually offer it. Now, let's say you're making $200,000 and you want to save aggressively, maybe 30% of your income. That's $60,000 a year that you want to put away for your future, but you can only put $23,500 in your 401k. So that's about 12% of your income. So that seems like a pretty low ceiling for someone making good money, doesn't it? So what happens to that remaining $36,500 that you want to save? Well, it can go into a regular investment account or a high yield saving account or any other account, your shoebox, whatever. You pay taxes on it now, but you can access that money anytime without the 10% early withdrawal penalty that locks in your 401k money until age 59 and a half. Now, your 401k gives you tax benefits. So your 401k gives you tax benefits, but it locks your money away. Everything else gives you the flexibility, but no immediate tax break. If you consider yourself to be a high earner, or you plan on becoming a high earner, taxes are probably your biggest expense and biggest concern. Your 401k forces you to make a bet. Pay taxes now or pay taxes later. With the traditional 401k, it gives you a deduction today at today's tax rate, but you pay taxes on everything later, your contributions, and all the growth. As for the Roth, you pay taxes up front today. Your withdrawals later on down the road are completely tax-free. And here's what many people don't realize when it comes to the traditional 401k. You're not avoiding taxes, you're just postponing them. If you put $23,500 in your traditional 401k today and it grows to $200,000 over 20 years, you pay taxes on the entire $200,000 when you withdraw it. That $23,500 tax deduction today could cost you about $70,000 in taxes later if rates stay the same, or in some cases it can even increase. So might be over to $70,000. As for the Roth 401k, since you're paying the tax rates today, your withdrawals are tax-free forever. As you can see here, 20 years later, your balance grows to be $200,000, tax bill zero. So you can take that full $200,000 in your pocket. Every fund in your 401k charges fees. Most people focus on returns, but what really matters is understanding the long-term wealth impacts of those fees. Let me show you a real example. You've got $200,000 in your 401k today. It grows at 7% annually for 30 years. With a low-cost fund charging about 0.05%, you end up with a little over $1.5 million. But if you're in a high-cost fund charging 1.5%, which is pretty common in many 401k plans, you could see that you're ending up 30 years later just a little bit shy under $1 million. So the difference between the low-cost fund and the high-cost fund is over $500,000. That's your cost for picking the wrong fund. Not the wrong fund, just a different choice. Let me put that in perspective for you because big numbers can feel abstract. What could you actually do with over $500,000? Well, you could put a down payment on a house, maybe several houses. You can send 2 kids through college debt-free, or if you're feeling adventurous, take 72 first-class trips to Europe, or you can even buy 386 puppies. I didn't include it in here, but you can also speed up your retirement by maybe 5 years, 10 years, who knows, and many other things. All of this, the house, the education, the puppies, the trips, that's what gets eaten up by fees over 30 years, right? You get pretty much the same investment, same market returns over 30 years. The only difference is the annual fees that's eating away at your growth. And that's a pretty expensive difference for something people never really look at, right? Now, your 401k has no built-in fee protection because it was never designed to protect you from high fees. All right, so I've got a little side quest for you that you can do after this video. Your mission, find your expense ratio. You can log into your 401k account to check your 401k statement. Look for those expense ratio in your funds. Look for numbers like 0.05% versus 1.5%. Remember, those tiny percentages add up to huge dollars over 30 years. This could be one of the most valuable homework you've ever done because that choice might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Drop a comment below and let me know what you found. Now let's keep going. Your 401k gives you pure market returns, all the upside, but also all the downside. There's no built-in protection by design. You're 64, you've got $1.2 million saved. Retirement's looking good. Then the market tanks 25% overnight. I mean, that does happen, right? Now, your 1.2 million is sitting at maybe about $900,000. That's not factoring in the taxes. Now what? You can wait years for the market to recover, or you can retire with 25% less than what you planned. It's not exactly the retirement timeline you had in mind, but market risk isn't the only constraint built into this system. Let's look at how 401k access actually work because the government controls both ends of your money and the rules work very differently based on your age. Here's the first scenario. You're 45 years old. Your business partner calls with an incredible opportunity. He said, hey, we can buy out a competitor on this real estate deal, but we need $75,000 in cash within 30 days. You've got $200,000 in your 401k, so you think, perfect, I'll just pull some out. The moment you request that $75,000, the IRS takes their cut, 10% early withdrawal penalty. There goes $7,500. Then comes tax time. Since this counts as your regular income and you're in a 30% tax bracket, you owe another $22.5 thousand. So to get $75,000 in your hand, you actually have to withdraw over $100,000 from your account, factoring in the taxes and fees and penalty, and pay more than $30,000 in cost. Fast forward to scenario 2. You're 73. You've been successful. Your 401k has grown to $800,000. You don't need the money. You're comfortable. But in January, you get a letter from your plan administrator about what's called a required minimum distribution, RMD. The math is simple. They take your $800,000 balance and divide it by 26.5. That's the government's life expectancy factor for your age. And the result, you must withdraw $30,000 this year and pay taxes on it, whether you want to or not. You miss this deadline, that's 25% penalty on top of what you should have withdrawn. And that percentage only goes up. By age 90, you're required to withdraw nearly 9% of your balance annually. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The government controls when you can't access your money and when you must access your money. So today we learn what your 401k does exceptionally well at pretty much what it was designed to do. Provide tax advantage saving with employers matching. Free money through matching is real value. Automatic payroll deduction builds discipline. Professional fund management removes investment complexity. And it accomplishes exactly what it was designed to accomplish in 1978. If you're building a future-proof fund for your older future self using a system designed for 1978's corporate pension crisis, you're dealing with 5 limitations that could hurt your future older self. Or if you're a high earner, it will hurt you too. Number 1, tax uncertainty. It forces you to bet on a future rate versus today's tax bracket. You could be setting yourself up for a massive tax bills later because you don't control those rates. Number 2, loss exposure. It gives you no protection against market crashes that could wipe out decades of contribution. Number 3, contribution caps. It limits your tax advantage saving to a tiny percentage of high income. Number 4, the required minimum distribution tax bomb. This can create a tax bomb that at age 73, many discovered too late. And lastly, the early access penalty. It may lock up your money during your peak earning years when opportunities and flexibility matter most. These are features of a system designed for corporate cost control and basic employee retirement, not high earner tax optimization and loss protection. So I want you to think about this question for a moment. Is your 401k your best option, or do you think that is your only option? Now, most people have never considered this distinction. They assume that their 401k is their best choice because it was what their employer offers. It has matching. It's called a retirement plan. But now you understand the complete picture. The tax uncertainty, the loss exposure, and limitations built into the design. So for some of you, maybe 401k is perfect for your situation and this season of your life. But for others of you, maybe it's not so much. Maybe it's time to explore whether there are better strategies that address what this corporate benefit can't provide. You now understand how your money really behaves within the 401k. The tax implications, loss exposure, and constraint that most people never question. Now you face the choice: do you accept the 1978's limitations or explore whether additional strategies could dramatically reduce your tax burden and protect against losses? I specialize in helping people eliminate risk, fees, and taxes in the way that they park and save their money. If you want a strategy that addresses the 401k limitations while keeping what's already working in your favor, and you're ready to see how this can possibly apply to your specific situation, click the link below to fill out a questionnaire and schedule a brief 15 minutes conversation with me. I'll ask you about your current goals and current strategy to determine if what I specialize in could even apply to your situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.